And we're back. We almost weren't because I'm currently doing
setting fire to the house.
What? Yeah, basically. And then after that, I cut my thumb. But you know, that's just life. Living with a clumsy, poorly person. And I walked this morning, and it wasn't very sensible. Anyway, so that leads us on to a good subject. For those of you who are new, this is Neil. Here's my husband.
Hello. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up and all that.
Anyway, it's basically sort of 5 minutes for this, 5 minutes for this. So basically, what it was like having me well again after 9 years of being ill.
Great.
We'll go into that a bit more. And then what's it been like readapting to me being poorly again? Not so great. So basically, you say great, but I would say because it's so gradual, it's a sort of non-event. You'd think when you're poorly, you think, oh wow, we'll have a big celebration or something. And
yes. So in the sense that it's gradual, you suddenly find, oh, hang on a minute, Esther's been going out to work and driving, and I have to use the bike now and things like that. And no hospital appointments and stuff. Well, fewer hospital appointments. So that's great. But yeah, it creeps up on you because you don't notice because, you eliminate using the wheelchair in certain locations, and then you find that you're only using it for long journeys, and then we're using less paraphernalia in the car, in the home and stuff like that. So yes, it is gradual, but it is great to be able to kind of go, yay.
But the thing I think we struggled with, and I don't know whether you remember this, maybe you've blasted it out of your memory, but basically it was the thing of, again, a new normal, because I was better, but I couldn't run as much. My memory was shot. Mm-hmm. I couldn't. Yeah, it's gone back to being shot.
It's all right. More. She'll forget that in a second. So
there we go.
She'll probably repeat
benefits. No, but it was. I would say it was actually really hard, because it wasn't like, oh, she's better now, so we have all these expectations. It was like, she's better, but she can't get work because nobody believes her that she's now well enough to do it. So that was like 6 months to a year of just kind of basically working for free to prove I could. Yes. Which was tricky.
And then continue to, even though you'd proved yourself, you still had to work for free as a volunteer, even though you were doing the job of somebody who should be paid. Yeah, that was a little bit...
That was sneaky.
Yeah, that was very sneaky. I can understand in the situation that it was in, that they want to cut costs, but
my favourite thing about being better was we started going for walks. Mm-hmm. And that was so lovely. And holding hands, because obviously when you're in the wheelchair, your spouse is behind you all the time. Which, sometimes he kisses me on the top of my head and then comments on how much I'm going bald up back there. But being able to go for walks together. Like, you're looking at my thing. Yeah, so that was nice.
Yes. So some of the challenges though are like just silly ones, as well as important and serious ones. So silly ones are things like we didn't really argue too much because we couldn't when you were poorly. So you gave in quite a lot. And then I noticed that you stood your ground more when you were better, which took a bit of adjusting.
See, that's interesting, because I would have said that I still stood my ground when I was poorly, because it used to knacker me out. Basically, it's like, oh no, we've got to resolve this and stuff. But
but I think that was limited to important things. Yeah. Well, that's how it felt.
So I was more feisty.
Yeah, you are more feisty.
Okay. We haven't discussed this, can you tell? So basically, I'm hearing this for the first time, which is great. Okay.
That's what occurred to me as you were talking. So I started smiling when you were saying things that really I shouldn't be smiling at. So
that's okay.
If anybody noticed, that was why.
It's part of married life. Now, Do you want to say any more about me being well, or should we go back to me being poorly? Because that's been most of my mind. Neil basically said the marriage vows are in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, till death do us part. And so Neil always goes in sickness and in health, because even when I've been well, I had a flare-up of endometriosis at one point. My blood pressure skyrocketed, but that was for a horrible reason. But it was like, okay, so this isn't like me being unhealthy. This is just the thing. And so it was just like, although I was well, it wasn't like normal person well.
Yeah. So,
but the fatigue was gone, so that was great.
So one of the challenges is you'd recovered from ME, but you hadn't recovered, because that's not how it works. You hadn't recovered from endometriosis. So that was still always there.
Underactive thyroid.
And underactive thyroid. So although there were medications and treatments, management and all that management of the conditions and all that kind of stuff, when there were some breaks in one of those medication, treatment, management things, that's when endometriosis escalated. So.
Which I have a theory is why I'm ill again, because I think the endometriosis is growing in places it should not be growing, and that is what's making me feel like I'm going to pass out every time I sit up, stand up, or bend down, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so what about, I would say this time round, with the ME, we adapted fairly quickly because we had to. It was like, literally, one day I was walking and the next day I couldn't wait there. This time round, it's been really gradual, hasn't it? It's been over about 2 years, and I've just sort of slowly deteriorated. And I used to say, didn't I? Like, either something is going very wrong inside me. I basically feel like my body's slowly shutting down, and that still is the case, which is a bit sad.
It's a bit. Well, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But so we're just making the most of the time we have together, basically.
So it's more difficult because you have an experience and understanding of what it's like to have a chronic illness. So the rose-tinted hindsight that you have when you recover suddenly gets ripped off, and you're like, that wasn't actually as big rosy as I thought it was. So that makes things worse. The way that it's happened and the potential for treatment, management, whatever, means that it's a lot more uncertain, which is weird because ME is
really uncertain.
Really uncertain.
Yeah, it's strange. And like, we actually took a really, really long time, like I'm coming up to a year, of like the mindset of, actually no, we can't go and watch a pantomime with the family because Esther can't sit up anymore. And actually, no, we have to say no to things. And we do things like, oh, go shopping. And it's like, hang on a minute. That's so that took us a really long time to adapt. And I'd still say there are still moments when we've kind of forgotten that. No, because the fatigue isn't there, it means I'm still able to do meals and things like that, which I couldn't do when I had ME. And so it's very much like,
house is on fire.
Yeah. Adapting has been harder this time, which is good weird, isn't it? Thank you. I kind of slightly blocked, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
We're still adapting, really.
There are certain parts that are easier.
What's that?
So you can look after yourself better during the day. So there's not the pressures on that of what do you do, which post-COVID is kind of weird because you can actually work at home a lot more than you used to be able to. So
praise the Lord for that.
Yeah, so you can work at home a lot more. Hence today. But then also it is harder in the sense of it's like going back to what it was. So
having a wheelchair in the car again, lots more pillows.
Yep, lugging a wheelchair around, pushing the wheelchair, not being able to get into shops because they have multiple steps, not being able to get around shops. Because
we should do that in another video, shouldn't we? Our experience.
Yeah. Like why when you got shelving do you then add things round that to then narrow the space about that? So you can barely walk through it,
We'll
let
do
alone
that in
push
another
a
video.
wheelchair.
We'll do that in another video because we've got lots
Maybe
of fun.
we should film.
We've got lots of fun stories about that though. Do you remember in London? That was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think so when Neil says this thing about I'm looking after myself better at home, I'm still on the sofa. I basically get up, do readings, Neil goes to work, I go back to bed for 2 hours, get up, maybe do a small activity, but I'm on the sofa, have lunch, go back to bed for 2 hours. So it's very much like I am looking after myself, but I'm not massively productive, as you can probably see. Like, you know, I've been honest, this is quite messy. I'm not going to show you the rest of the sitting room, but you see my kitchen, so you know. So yeah, so that's definitely been harder adapting to. I think because the fatigue's not there, which is great. Like I'm very, very happy not having the fatigue. The endometriosis feels like I'm in labour sometimes, which isn't good, and then obviously the pain of that whacks me out. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Anything else you want to add?
No.
It's like, no, I want to leave.
Got work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, just FYI, this is his lunch break because he probably works when he's at home and doesn't get disturbed. So that's good. Anyway, we will do a video, I think, about our experiences with.
We did a video about our experiences going to London.
We did our experience. Look it up. It's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I might watch it just to see whether I managed to remain calm.
It was very quiet, I think, from what I recall.
I was trying not to say anything bad.
We've got past that now, though.
I don't want to have anybody knocking on my door.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm very grateful for like the situation I'm in the sense of not having the fatigue, not having to have lots and lots of hospital appointments because you just get gaslit and it's annoying. So I don't want to come across as being like, oh, this is easy, but also I don't want to come across as being like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done, because it's not.
Somewhere between the two.
Yeah, there we go. Boom.
Good.
I've got hiccups now. Bye. Goodbye.